All right, guys, how you guys doing today? So this is out of the ordinary. This is like we're doing a disclaimer kind of minute, 2 minute thing. So as you guys know, season two ended this past Monday, and we really didn't expect to be releasing another episode until season three,
Which would be like July.
right? But so we recorded an episode this past Sunday, and it was just like very heartbreaking, very disturbing to us, to hear this person's story. So we're doing this disclaimer, kind of like parental advisory type thing.
Yeah, let's let you guys know that this is going to be some heavy stuff you're about to hear. Um, I know me and Freddie definitely were holding back a lot of emotions as we could, during this episode. And I don't know, it was a really hard time recording this one.
Yeah, definitely the stuff that you're going to hear in this hour and a half episode. Um, the person who recorded clearly is going through a lot of mental health issues. Um, something, something that really happened, tragic in his life that kind of altered his life, the way of thinking. So this is very disturbing material what you're gonna hear, and we kind of just want to give you guys like a little disclaimer saying, watch at your own risk, listen at your own risk, and there's always help out there. So once you guys hear this and then listen to the episode, if you guys know anybody who's going through stuff like this, or you yourself are going through this and you guys need help, sometimes talking to somebody, even though I'm not professional, just listening or just having someone listen, like how this person Jerry, how he told us, just listening to us speak to him, and then us listening to his story and not labeling him any type of way or any type of person
You can almost
really
sense
helped
the
him.
relief. You can almost sense
Yeah,
the relief.
definitely, because he really released, his emotions this episode. It was like really hard for me to hold back tears, and it's just very unfortunate that he has to live through these circumstances. And I'm kind of glad that he told the story here with us, um, so we could try to help him as much as we can. I know that same day that Jerry left here after recording that episode, we spoke among us, and I contacted a like national helpline. And what's that national helpline
Yeah,
for mental health?
here's the number we called, but just for you guys, we got it's 1-800-662 help. 1-800-662 help, and I'll say the numbers 1-800-662-4357.
Yes.
So if you or anybody you guys know, man, need help, please contact that. And then even if you don't feel like contacting like something like that, and you want to talk to us, and like we're here to listen, like off the books, not even for this. You could me or Freddie at our personal Facebook, our Instagram, also on our smoker section stuff. DM us. We want to help, and then anybody that could think that they want to help out Jerry in any way, please contact us. And that's the whole reason we're releasing this now, because we want to help out Jerry. We feel for him big time.
Yeah, definitely the stuff that he talked about kind of put up red flags for us. As far as like us not wanting to release this episode, as far as like we had to speak to a lawyer, we had to speak to police officers, that we knew,
It was a
that we know,
huge.
and they gave us advice, and the advice that they gave us, legal advice, so seeing that there was basically no repercussions, for us, because we are trying to get this person help, and if you guys, like I said, know anybody or yourself are going through this and need help, please do not hesitate to contact anybody, even if it's not us.
Yeah.
Sometimes just sitting down and talking to somebody that you guys trust, or, you guys, sometimes you just need somebody who listens. And if you do know somebody or some places that has helped you guys in the past, we would really, really appreciate it if you guys could contact us and give us that information so we could pass it along to Jerry. I know we got some some facilities and numbers and addresses
Yeah,
from that
some
helpline
great.
that I
That
called.
was a great help. That person you talked to. I wish we could have got her name.
Yeah,
Um, also, like as already said, pretty much once we talked to everybody at the end of the day, the judgment call was to us to release this. We talked amongst ourselves for a while, even with A Rod, and we came to the ultimate judgment that this was the best to release, especially right now since it's May and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we feel like it's perfect time to release this to help and get the word out. Just know you're not alone out there. That's all we want to really
definitely.
get out.
Before we cut this, again, like we recorded this episode, a few days ago. It was in hopes that this was gonna be one of the episodes for season 3, but this is bigger than than our podcast. This is bigger than anything like that. Once we heard a story, we just knew exactly what we had to do, and you know, at the end of the day, someone's health was way more important than some fucking content. So, and then how the cards just fell in our laps, with the story that he told us,
Yeah.
and then being that it's Mental Health Healthness Awareness Month, it was like a no brainer. Like we just had to, release this episode. So, again, I want to tell you guys, the content and the stuff that you're about to hear could be very heavy stuff for you guys. So I would like to tell you guys to listen to it at your own pace or your own,
Yeah, take breaks if you need to. Just know, like, and in the beginning, as you see, we start off light because me and Freddie really didn't know what we were entering in there.
Yeah, we were shocked to hear what he
So
said.
you could shift the tone. You could feel the tone shift in there, but I don't know. I just hope we get Jerry the help he needs. Seemed like a lovely dude. He was a great dude.
Definitely. So thank you guys again, and stay tuned for more content, later on. And we'll keep our social medias going and posted. And like I said, hopefully you guys get in contact with us and, we go from there. Thank you guys.
Welcome to the Smoky Section Podcast.
All right, it's the Smoker Section Podcast. I'm Chris, here with Freddie, as always.
So how you guys doing today? Today we have a good guest. Today's our first time meeting him. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
And you know our mutual friend Alex, right? You guys work together.
Yes, correct.
And today what we're smoking is I just got these actually. These are Bahia Cafe flavors. These smell like hot chocolate, so it's only right that I got my coffee today.
Yeah, and you have to have you have the Hershey's in it.
My Hershey caramel creamer from Speedway, unofficial sponsor by the way.
When he has the sweet ones like this, Jerry, he always says he has to have that coffee.
Are
With
those
the,
expensive?
No,
these
these actually. Oh, I got a 12-pack. They were like $21.
Oh, okay.
Cigars range between, like, I guess it depends on like if you're a cigarette smoker, right? You smoke cigarettes.
Correct.
What kind of cigarettes do you smoke?
Mavericks.
Mavericks. Okay, so those are those are in the lower end.
The lower
So-
generics. Yes.
So these are maybe a little bit above Mavericks,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not Newports, they're not Marlboros, anything like that.
Okay.
well, yeah, see, like with Mavericks, when I used to smoke cigarettes, when I was like lower on like right before payday,
The budget.
because I would smoke the the Newport 100s, the
Mhm.
Maverick Green 100s is what I would go for if I was kind of like.
They're both like menthol flavor, whatever.
They have the red and the green, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So these Bahia ones are not, I guess, not like Mavericks,
Mm-hmm.
but just sometimes you get them on clearance. Sometimes you'll get even like really, really good cigars, like really good name brand cigars for cheap. It depends if you buy them in bulk, which we do.
Right.
Because, we
right.
smoke a cigar at least, once every episode.
Okay.
And we do like fights and stuff like this here. We'll all get together down here and we'll
Like one
smoke cigars and stuff like that. So we have to keep our inventory, always stocked up.
Yeah.
You know.
I can imagine.
But yeah, how long have you and Alex known each other?
I met Alex in October of 2017 when I hired in at the Goodwill Industry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You guys like it there?
It's a job.
It's a job. Yeah.
I've always said I don't like working. I've had good jobs throughout my life, but I don't like working. I'm a good worker. I'm a dedicated worker. But if I could get free money, I wouldn't work.
I feel
yeah,
that all day.
I've never had a job that I like.
I understand that.
Never.
Those are
I
hard to
worked
come
in the
by.
mill, worked for the railroad, but it's good money. But I don't want to work.
Right.
But I'm a dedicated worker.
I'm currently at a job right now where I do like my job.
Mm-hmm.
I drive excavators and like loaders and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a one-seater, big heavy machinery. I dig up stuff and feed the hopper.
Okay.
It's just the management sucks ass,
Right,
But yeah,
right.
I mean, I get you. If I could stay at home and scratch my balls all day and get paid for it,
Right.
Shit.
Right, yeah.
I feel that.
My point.
well, yeah. I mean, did you like it though? Because the cigar smells like coffee.
Oh
And,
no, I dig this. You know what it reminds me of a little bit is kind of like that. What is that? Acid Cuba, but like more on the lighter, like not as
Lighter,
sweet.
yeah.
So I would actually prefer this over that because that one could be too sweet.
Too sweet at
This
times.
is perfect,
Yeah.
and I can see why you would pair it up with the coffee.
I
all
like
day.
these though because, like you said, they're not too sweet. But again, because they're not like a Rocky Patel or Drew Estate cigar.
Yeah,
They're not. They're infused, but they're not like very potent infused, so you can't really taste it. But you can taste the coffee a little bit. It smells more like coffee than it actually tastes like coffee.
yeah, true.
But when I drink my coffee, I actually taste my coffee more than a cigar. But that's what we do here. We kind of, before we get into the juicy details, we we review cigars that we smoke. So people out there could
So they have a sense of what they.
Yeah.
I mean, if they could base it off of, they know, I like what Chris likes or I like what Freddie likes.
Mm-hmm.
We give them our little like tidbits. Maybe you guys might want to pick this one up, depending on how you're feeling that day. Really, that's how
Yeah.
I go. Like,
I never found these in stores before. This brand, I've only bought them in Cigars International, where we mostly buy our stuff at. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to buy it, probably buy it online. I don't know if you guys could find it around here. Probably somebody will have it, but not that I've seen. But yeah, are you into cigars or no?
No.
You just
just
smoke cigarettes.
Uh-huh.
How long have you been smoking cigarettes for?
Since 18.
Jesus.
I stopped for 5 years back in 1977, and I started back in 82 once my fiance was murdered.
Okay. And so you saying that, I guess that brings us to why,
yeah.
not why we're here, but kind of want to speak about that. Because Alex, I know you and Alex shared stories before, and he did mention to us something about that.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly, I guess take us back, as far as you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You said you weren't married yet, right? So that was your fiance?
No, I wasn't married. But
Okay.
I was going to marry her. We was going to get married in July of that year.
Okay.
She was killed in February.
Okay, so where'd you guys meet at?
At school.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a junior. I mean, she was a sophomore and I was a junior when we met.
okay.
I was on the wrestling team. She was a cheerleader.
Okay. What year? I mean, what school did you guys go to?
Gary Roosevelt.
Oh,
That
okay.
shut down now, right?
Yes.
They don't have that school no more.
They've
Yeah,
recently
it's
did it,
closed.
within the last 10 years, I think. Right.
Right.
Is it?
Somewhere around in
Yeah, I know when I was at EC Central, I graduated in 2009
Mm-hmm.
from high school, and I think even then, it wasn't around anymore, or I think it was
That's
like in the
probably when
last
they were-
years.
yeah.
Roosevelt
Yeah.
closed way before 2009.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I worked with a lady who was from Gary,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to work for his furniture company when I was super young, and she told me she would tell me stories about Gary, like how beautiful it was before and everything else. And
when I came up here from down south, it was beautiful.
really, what year was that?
It was 65. I came up here at the
Okay.
age of 8 years old, 1965.
Paint the picture for me, because I know I could see. You know, I googled pictures of Gary before.
What was it like? I know Broadway was really nice, right?
Yeah,
Broadway.
I think-
Broadway was nice. You know, we was amazed by it when we first came up here because
Right.
down south you had the narrow roads.
Oh, okay.
And when we came up here and seen Broadway, we was amazed.
Yeah,
Had
As
the
little
theater down
kids,
there and
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
yeah. Now it's just like a ghost town, man. They have
Mhm.
like nothing there. It's
Yeah.
you know, I think the lady I speak of, I think she told me when because she was a lot older than I was. She was probably like in her 50s then.
Mm-hmm.
She told me like what she remembers Broadway was like their downtown Chicago. You know,
Mhm.
I come from the city. I was born in the city of Chicago, so I'm used to downtown and everything else.
Mhm.
And I could just imagine someone who comes from like really nothing, like you're from down south. You probably live like in country areas where there's not really big buildings and stuff.
Right.
So you're going to that, and you're like, holy shit! Like,
I
damn,
was
like,
amazed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially coming here when I first moved out here, because Chicago has like a really narrow roads,
Mhm.
especially when you have like cars parked on both sides of the street. You know, it's like a two-way lane, but you could barely squeeze two cars between each other. And out here, everything's like wide open. You have like it's damn near 3 lanes almost, you know, to every street. Even the little streets, you know,
Right.
they're wide enough, you know. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, you know, I digress. But so yeah, so you guys met in high school. What was her name?
Her name was Daisy Crockett.
Daisy.
Easy card.
Mm-hmm.
So then you guys were dating in high school, and then after high school, you
We
guys
started living together.
right after high school.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right
Oh,
after high school.
damn,
We started
okay.
living together because I hired in the U.S. Steel at the age of 19.
Ah, that's when they're still open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when back then it was high school straight to the mill, right?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
how it
Yes.
was.
And,
For how long did
know,
you work there?
6 years.
Okay.
And during Reaganomics, 1982, March 26, 1982, right shortly after her death, I was laid off and was never called back.
Mm.
Yeah. No.
And after being laid off for 5 years in the mill, you considered automatically terminated.
Oh, okay.
So it was like me starting my life all over again.
So is it like now where you get you know, I'm only 30 years old, so I really don't know much. I've only been started working since I was like 17. A lot of things changed from the 80s to 90s to you know now.
Absolutely,
You
yes.
know,
I've seen a big change.
so like when you would get, I guess, laid off from the mill, did they have like
They had good benefits back
unemployment?
then.
That's what. That's
Yes.
the word.
We would get 3 checks being laid off from the mill back then. In those days, you would get 3 checks. You know,
Like
you
every
would-
week?
Yes, every
Oh,
week.
wow.
Oh wow.
You would get an unemployment check. Then the mill would pay us 2 checks
What?
along with our unemployment.
And
yes.
what was that like?
I can't think of the name of the checks now.
Okay.
But we would receive 2 checks from the mill from being.
And I'm guessing that's like just a percentage of what a weekly
I would-
hourly
I
check would be
think-
for you
I would
guys.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was good money back then.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for anybody, even the mill now, like you know,
Mhm.
for anybody straight out of high school going straight to the mill is like you know, it's good money. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of hours and you know, stressful and everything else, but I mean, it's really good money.
Mm-hmm.
So like, so were you receiving checks then when you
Yes.
got laid off?
Yes.
So I guess how long were you receiving checks before they said you're technically fired? I guess.
Okay. After my 5 years, okay, my money was cut off.
Okay.
So what I did, I started selling marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I started selling joints, okay, and that progressed into selling pounds,
Okay.
okay. And the money was so good back then that I rented an apartment. I was staying, you know, in a certain apartment, and I rented an apartment for my drug transaction. And I had a friend of mine doing the drug transaction for me. I would bring it to him. And, you know, he was homeless, so I would let him stay in that apartment. I would pay the rent while he do my drug transactions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we were eventually raided
Okay.
because he was selling to just anybody. Okay. And that particular day, this happened in 1984. Okay. An officer knocked on my door in plain clothes and asked me could he purchase a certain amount of marijuana. And I recognized him as being a cop. So I told, because I had all my stuff set out in the living room, and, you know, I was bagging it up for
Yeah.
sale. And once I recognized him as being a police officer, I told him, no, I don't sell weed. Everything here is for my personal use. So he said, okay. Went back downstairs. Next thing I know, they bomb rushed me. I had just got out the hospital from a gunshot wound. I had, that was 30 days prior to me being busted.
Okay.
A gunshot wound to the side of my mouth. I accidentally did it myself. Okay, I was carrying a 25 automatic in my waistband, which I normally carried in my back pocket. And me and my girlfriend, which eventually became my wife, that buried my two children, we were going to dinner. So as soon as I came out my apartment and walked on the sidewalk, it fell out and discharged. Hit me in the side of the mouth and lodged near the optic nerve in my left eye. Okay, I was in the hospital for 30 days. Okay, they couldn't take the bullet out. I still had a bullet in my face because they said it was too close to the optic nerve in my left eye. Okay, once that happened, shortly after that, that's when the raid happened. Okay, I was raided. I was there with my brother and my cousin. We was bagging up marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they raided us. They took my pistol, took all my gold chains. I never got any of that back. They would always give me the runaround when I would go and check on my registered pistol. And when they raided the house, one of the officers was elated with the nickel-plated pearl handle 25 automatic. So, in my mind, I figured they kept that since they keep telling me,
Right.
It's probably been taken out to the mill and melted down. I knew somebody had kept it. So once I was raided, I say, no, this is not the life for me. It's time for me to go back to work. So I went to the Gary Career Center. This was in 1984. I took the nurse's aid course. I completed that. Then I started working at South Lake Care Center as a nurse's assistant. I did that for 3 years, from 1985 to 1988. Okay. From 1988, I hired in at the Indiana State Prison, August 10th of 1988. And during my tenure there, with the taunting and the harassment of the inmates from 1988 to 1991, I could tell that something was happening inside of my head. I was building up a lot of hate and a lot of anger because I was looking at these individuals as, you could have did that to my fiance, or an individual like you did this to my fiance.
Right.
Okay. So that's when the hate and anger built.
Was the hate and anger just built towards anybody who you thought kind of fit the description of what you believed could have done that to your
young
fiance?
black male thug.
Yeah.
And to this day, I have a hate for young black male thugs. And I would like to see them dead. I would like to be the one to kill them. But being that I wasn't raised that way,
Right.
I can't do it. But deep in my heart, I want to. And on a daily basis, I think about how I can kill individuals and get away with it. And, in 2000, it had got to the point where if I don't talk to somebody about this, I'm going to carry this out. So I went to my shift captain, and I told him about the thoughts I was having about killing a certain type of individual, and my target would be young black men. Okay, he sent me to the chaplain of the prison to talk to him. Once I talked to the chaplain of the prison, they decided that it was best for me to go to LaPorte Hospital on the 7th floor psych unit.
Okay.
So one of my captains took me there. I stayed 24 hours. They took my belts. They took my shoestrings, all of that.
Protocol,
to make
yeah.
sure that, I'm not going to hurt myself.
Suicidal protocol, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, the very next day, I was evaluated. I was evaluated verbally, and I was evaluated by some type of computer to make sure I couldn't beat the system verbally.
Okay.
So my counselor told me, you know, you're okay mentally, but you have homicidal thoughts. And she said she recommend me anger management. So the prison paid for me to do anger management for 12 weeks. Okay, I was in anger management for 5 weeks before I was able to return back to work. And before the 5 weeks had surpassed, I I was getting angry with my therapist because I felt that they was telling me the same thing week after week. You're not helping me. You in this for money. And this is what I, told them.
Right.
So shortly after that, she allowed me to go back to work after, the little few weeks of anger management. So I went back to work. I wasn't allowed to work inside of the institution, inside of the wall, because they felt I was a threat to the inmates. So I worked outside of the wall with a lower level class of inmates, which was they was from what was called K dorm, adjacent to the prison, outside the wall. They was more short-term inmates. They wasn't doing big time.
Okay.
So they was more on a
Like, bro.
regular level mentally,
Right.
and I could deal with those. But the inmates inside of the wall, I couldn't deal with them. I told my captain that I was having these thoughts of bringing a weapon in here, targeting young black offenders. This is where my hate lies. Okay. So after that, you know, I worked outside of the wall for a certain period of time. Then they allowed me to come back inside of the wall. So on this particular day, I was working the recreation gate. Where the inmates come from the cell houses, they go out to recreation for a few hours, they recreate. Then during count time, it's time for them to go back in for institutional count. So on that day, this particular inmate, older white inmate, he walked into the recreation office and he stole on me. He hit me for no reason at all. And, he left back out the door immediately. And, I'm wondering to myself, damn, what the fuck? Boom, boom, boom. And where I should have called a signal 7, that is what we call over the radio for an emergency situation. But I didn't. I was so embedded in anger, I say, I'm going to get this motherfucker. So soon as the recreation gate was cleared, I went out on Main Street searching for this individual. And I happened to seen him. And I called out to him. And when he turned around, I hit him with a blast of mace. Okay. Then I put my mace back in my holster. Then I commenced to beat him, street fighting.
Yeah.
Wherein I made the mistake. I didn't follow protocol, procedure. I should have called the signal 7, which was an emergency situation. But I took it upon myself to handle this myself because of the anger and hate that I had for individuals.
Yep.
So I street brawl with him.
Right.
And I beat him. And then a white sergeant came and said, okay, they called me JB. They said, okay, JB, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. And, he had to pull me off this guy. So I end up having to write a report. Anytime there's an incident, you have to write a report. So I wrote my report and told him what had happened, And then when it came time for my hearing, they said that I did not follow proper procedure, that I should have called the signal 7 for backup, da-da-da. So I was given an ultimatum. This happened in 2006. I was given an ultimatum to either be terminated or resign. So I resigned. Okay. After I resigned in 2007, I hired in at ArcelorMittal Steel as a security guard.
In East Chicago or Burn
East Chicago.
East Chicago.
You see?
Okay. I worked there from 2009 to 2012. And 2012, I resigned from there and started doing home health care because of my medical background. I was dealing with the mentally ill, So it was 2012. This guy, I was trying to give him a shower. An older white guy, I was giving him a shower. And he became combative. And I lost it. And I beat him. And we had a hearing. And I was terminated from that job in 012. And from 012 to 017, I was unemployed with all these, because I have worked since I was 16 years old,
Right.
pumping gas after high school,
Yeah.
you know, never been without a job. So now I'm out of a job. This is playing with my mind, you know, from 012 to 017, okay? And that's when I hired in at Goodwill in 017. But for those 5 years, it was like a mental struggle. Yeah.
You think it's because, like, when you're working, our minds are stimulated and stuff like that. So you think, you didn't have nothing to stimulate your mind, and you were just sitting in your thoughts all this time. Is that
And my thoughts was always evil, of hurting somebody. How can I kill people and get away with it?
Yeah.
And like I told my counselor, I said, if I could, I would sit in my window at home with a high-powered rifle and just watch individuals walk past and just kill them for no reason. I said, these are the thoughts I had. Take a pocket knife, walk the streets, and as I walk past an individual that looks a certain way to me, boom, 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 a
Right.
number of times, and watch them drop and walk away. I have thoughts of being a vigilante killer to this day. I want to kill people to this day. But because of the way I was raised and my 2 daughters, knowing Jesus Christ, that's the only reason that I won't. But I have a deep desire in my heart to see people dead right now at 64 years old.
Yeah.
And it all started back in 1982.
So now has it changed? Going back a little bit, since you said your deep hate was towards a certain type of person, a certain type of look, being young African American that looks thuggish, pants up their ass, down their ass, whatever.
Yes.
Is that the same today, or is it just
Yes.
anybody now?
No, it's the same.
The same.
I target a certain type of person.
Yeah.
This is what I vision. That certain type of individual that I feel that you was the cause of my fiance being killed. This black, young, thuggish individual.
Right.
Which it may have not been.
Yeah.
But in my heart,
In
I
your
feel
head,
it
yeah.
was because she worked at a recreational center. And she used to come home every day telling me, these guys are hitting on me, these guys are hitting on me. So I feel in my heart that, after trying to, catch this woman, hit on this woman, and she didn't, give in to your temptations,
Right.
you decided you would take it.
Right.
And
So
that's
what
what's got me
exactly
messed up.
what exactly happened to your fiance?
She was abducted from her job. She was driven over in East Chicago on Gutter Street in the projects. I don't know where that is, but this is what the police told us. And she was raped, she was beaten, she was strangled. And they tied a plastic garbage bag around her head to try to keep the blood from flowing. But once I received my car back, in the trunk of the car, the felt that's in the lining of the car, I would mash it like this, and it was still soaked with blood.
So she lost a lot of blood.
She lost a lot of blood. And she was beaten beyond recognition. I didn't even recognize her in her coffin.
So when that happened, how long did it take the police to? Were they even like concerned at all to try to find? I know,
It took 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
They called her mother in 2 weeks. And her mother called me and said they found Daisy. Yeah. And they wanted us to come to the police station. And, they gave us information, and told us that, they had her panties and her driver's license in her back pocket. So evidently, I feel that they wanted her to be notified to
Yeah.
leave that evidence,
Right.
you know. But that's what was found on her.
When you were working at the jail, you were a CO, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you had those thoughts in your head, when that guy finally gave you, because that's what it was, that guy that punched you in the face, he gave you like a way out, or kind of a way to express
Your
your
anger,
thoughts and your
yeah.
anger
Yeah.
towards that person. How'd that fucking feel?
It was like spontaneous. I lost all protocol at what I
Yeah.
supposed to been did,
Right.
you know, for its proper procedure. I lost that. I didn't care about that. I wanted that individual, and that's who I went after. That's who I pursued.
Was he a black guy too?
He was a white guy.
He was a white
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he was a white guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think if he was that type of person that you're going after, you think it would have been worse for him?
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those 5 years that you were unemployed, there's this is the thing with with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
How we would say before is like a lot of people who are going through mental issues who don't want to say anything or can't get the help or maybe are embarrassed to say something. That whole 2020 year that we were a lot of people were out of work and stuff like that. They went through a lot of the stuff that you went through, not as far as like, the same circumstances to get to that point, but as far as like going through mental issues, not being able to work and just being at home trapped with your own feelings. This is a big problem that I think a lot of people in the United States had during the pandemic. The same thing you went through. So during those 5 years that you were unemployed and just with your thoughts, like what did you do for 5? Because 5 years is a long time. Just to sit there with your own thoughts. Like, how did you, I guess, deal with
Alcohol.
alcohol?
Yeah. Alcohol.
Did you abuse alcohol a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I've always been a, recreational drinker.
Right.
And during that time, my alcohol use increased. And I recognized that.
Yeah.
Whatever I've used over the years, I've always evaluated the effects of it, how it had me feeling, how it had me thinking. And during that time, the 5 years that I was out of work, I evaluated my situation, and it created more anger in me, and it created more homicidal thoughts in me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, when your then fiance, when she went to work that day, that she worked, what was it, days or nights that she worked?
She worked from 9 to 5. Okay, my shift was 7 to 3 in the mill. So we only had one vehicle at the time. So I would allow her to take me to work. And my brother, he was a foreman in the mill at the time. We were on the same shift, so I would get a ride home with him. I would let her use my car to go to work. So she would go back home and get dressed, prepare for work, then she would leave for work. So that particular day, February the 2nd, 1982, we went through the same procedure. She took me to work. She went back home. She got dressed for work. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we only lived a short distance from her job. Okay, and it only took her about anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to get home. So after 20 minutes, she's not home. I got to thinking, she's not home. What's happening? Boom, boom, boom. So I just dismissed it. Time, steady pass. So I'm getting worried now because this is out of the norm.
Right.
So I called her family. I called her mother first. Asked, have you all seen Daisy? She hasn't made it home from work. No, we haven't seen her. I called her brothers and sisters. Then I called her female friends. Nobody had seen Daisy. So by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, after that, I knew something was wrong then. So I eventually went to bed. I got up the next morning. I called off from work, and I called my brother. He had a 1979 Ford Bronco, 4-wheel drive. This was in the wintertime. It was still snow on the ground at the time. I asked him would he come over and let's search Gary to try to find my car.
Right.
You know, I figured if I could find my car, then, you know, that would be a lead. So we searched that morning. We didn't find the vehicle. So I went back home and I waited, you know. The very next day, you know, I went on to work, you know, living my regular life.
Right.
And 2 weeks later, I got that phone call from my mother saying, Jerry, they found Daisy. Would you come over? We got to go to the police station in East Chicago. So I came over. We went to the police station. He gave us all the information. And come to find out, I was the first suspect because, you know, learning that, you know, husband or boyfriend living with her,
yeah.
you know, you're going to be the first suspect.
Of
But
course.
me being 25 years old at the time, all of this was new to me.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, damn, you know, I'm facing a murder charge for something I didn't do. And plus, you know, I'm grieving because my girlfriend is killed. And, you know, people thinking I did it. And, you know, I had to go through lie detective tests, you know, semen samples, all of that. Once it was all completed, this officer told me, he said, Jerry, no matter what people are saying, you didn't have anything to do with this. So with him telling me that, I figured that her family was thinking and told the police to check me out, that I had something to do with this.
Right.
You know, so I distanced myself from the
From
family,
the family.
after that, you know.
So did you not call the police at all? From the time that she technically went missing.
Mm-hmm. No,
until
I
2
called them
weeks?
after 24 hours because I
Oh,
knew
okay.
you got to wait 24 hours before you
Right.
report a
Missing
missing
person.
person.
Yeah.
Right.
So the very next morning I woke up before I called my brother
Yeah,
to
day you
let's
called
go
off.
look.
Yeah.
That's when I called the police and
Okay.
reported her missing.
Okay.
Yes.
No, obviously from all the stuff you were feeling, they never really found the person that did this, correct?
To this day, no.
So do you think there's more that the police could have done that they didn't do?
Well, back then, I'm looking at, you know,
There was no cell phones
Now,
back then, man.
you know,
Yeah, and
and
a
no
lot of-
DNA testing back
yeah,
then. Unless somebody, you know, snitch on somebody.
and that never happens. Well,
Yes.
around here it doesn't.
Even to this day, if
Yeah.
don't nobody tell the
Okay.
police, chances are they're not going to catch the killers, you know, unless they get DNA.
Yeah.
So, no,
Oh, okay.
it was a lost cause.
Yeah, that was just my thought from the giggle,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's what and that's what sucks about. It's a good thing that we live in this day and age now, where technology is like super advanced. You know, medically, forensically, all that stuff. To where that were to ever happen to anybody, you know, unfortunately, it happened to you. I know it happens, you know, to a lot of people in this world. Some that we don't even know about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just super unfortunate that when it happened to you, you know, it was in the 80s, early 80s, there was no, you know, cell phones. You couldn't ping towers. There was
Yeah,
no
there was-
forensics,
Right.
really, you know,
Right.
stuff like that. Look what, you know, even later on, a couple years after that, with the whole OJ thing, they barely even had forensics then.
And I feel this way, even to this day, even though they had this technology now, I feel that, you know, Gary police officers, it's a close case. You know, if they was to open the case now, I feel that they could find the killer from, you know,
Right.
testing, but it's lost.
Do
And
you
this will
sometimes
haunt me
feel?
for the rest of my life.
Have you ever had thoughts of maybe even just trying to, you know, just, you know, you can never get her back, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you could get some type of closure. I guess you really won't get closure even if they were to find the killer, because
That would help me.
That would help, yes.
It would help me.
but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
even if they found the killer, even if it was a description of what you think that her killer was, do you still think that you would have those thoughts even though if they found her killer?
If it wasn't a description, I think my hate would be geared towards the person that did it.
That did it, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Do you think there's any chance in the future that you might try to visit the police station again and ask to no?
No,
Yeah, even not even for your own psychology, nothing.
I'm going to deal with it
Okay.
until I die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's eating me deep.
Mhm.
It's eating me. And I wait on a person to offend me, and that's gonna unleash the rage in me.
Right.
That is what I want. I want to be offended so I can carry out my anger.
You want somebody to push you.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
like
you
the-
want. You're at
And
the edge right now.
Every day I go to work, I look for areas and I look for weapons at work to this day. And my weapon of choice would be a golf club, a sturdy golf club. Because I work around at Goodwill, they hire the mentally challenged.
Yeah.
And they hire a lot of thugs, black thugs, which I hate the most. And each day I go into work, nobody knows but me, because I'm quiet. I'm an intelligent guy, you know. I'm a nice guy, you know. But nobody knows what's on my mind, and it's my secret. I go into work every day looking for the closest weapon that I can use in case I'm confronted. And I want it to happen.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why I think like this. I want somebody to provoke me so I can carry out what I feel in my heart. And I would be willing to put my hands out to the police.
Well, it's
Do
because
you want? Go ahead.
I think it's because, well, you know, I mean, I'm not a therapist or anything, but you're saying it yourself, but it's because of that, you know, anger and that hatred you have towards that, and that's your way of releasing it, would be to do that.
Yeah.
So
To hurt somebody.
yeah,
Do you
I-
want
I
that to
want-
stop?
Huh?
Do you want that to stop?
I would love for it to stop. But while I'm still living it,
Right.
I want to carry it out.
Right. It seems to me.
I want to hurt people.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
In my heart, I want to hurt people.
It
I want to
seems-
kill.
It seems to me that. You
And,
know,
and
just,
this is so crazy. The thoughts that I be having, you know, I'm not a mentally deranged individual because I can't control what I think, but I can control the actions of my thoughts.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't act on them.
right.
But I feel that something is going to set me off to be a serial killer. I want to kill a multitude of people. In my heart, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to kill people. And I keep telling myself, you're normal? Why are you thinking this way?
yeah,
I can't control them thoughts. I
With
just control the actions.
with traumatic experiences like that, you know, we're only human. We're not. You know,
Yeah.
we're not robots. We're not machines. You know, at the end of the day, you are just human. You know,
Yeah.
Facts.
just because you have those thoughts does not mean
I
that
don't
you're
open
not.
up like this to everybody, man, but I'm hurting. I'm hurting. You know, I have a desire to kill.
yeah.
And I view myself as a normal individual, but why do I want to kill people? I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Fuck, man. You're.
Yeah,
This
It's
is
alright.
deep. What I'm feeling is deep, man. This is deep. And I've been dealing with it for 39 years. I don't know how to get rid of this. I have vigilante thoughts.
Yeah.
I told my counselor, I said, I just wish I could, you know, just walk down the street and kill people that look a certain way. That's not normal thinking.
Right.
It's not normal at all.
but the fact that, like you said, that you were able to fight it off those, you know, thoughts tells me you're a strong person.
That's the only thing. The reason why I haven't. I'm mentally strong, but it's eating. It's deep. Nobody know what I'm going through. Nobody know.
It's okay, man.
I want to kill people. I haven't mentioned my mother. Okay. My mother and my stepdad. My stepdad died in March 25th, 2011. He didn't like me. I didn't like him because he abused my mom. And when I was 15, when my mom and my dad was drinking, before she got saved and accepted Jesus in her life, he used to beat her every time he come home from work and found her drunk. And I told my mom one day, I say, when I grow up, I'm going to kill him. And I know I'm going to go to prison, but I don't care. I didn't care at the time. I was 15, okay? I wrestled and I boxed, okay? And I developed skills from that. And once I turned 17, I felt that I could take my stepfather. Shortly after then, they accepted Jesus into their life. And they became saved and all the abuse stopped. Okay, that's what saved my stepfather. I was going to kill my stepfather, from watching the abuse growing up from my mother. Okay, he was saved. And then he developed a hate for me. And somehow it rubbed off on my mom because when I married in 1991, I married a woman that I was having sex with. I didn't love her or anything like that. But I always had the concept of the woman that I have a baby by. That's who I wanted to be my wife because I don't want to be a deadbeat dad like my biological father was. I haven't seen him since I was 8 years old. So I was willing to stay into the marriage until my daughters became 18. So my first daughter was born July 16th, 1985. I married 6 years later because she gave me an ultimatum. You either marry me or I'm going to move to Ohio with your daughter. Okay. I was standing at the altar telling myself while the pastor was going through the rituals, I was saying, damn, I done fucked up. I'm going to deal with this until my daughter's 18 years old. And I'm going to get out of it. That was my plan because I didn't love this woman. And my mom used to always tell me, well, you'll grow to love her. You'll grow to love her. Okay, 6 years later, I pregnant again with my second daughter. And I say, damn, I screwed up. I'm going to have to stay in this another 18 years because I didn't want to live outside of my kids.
Right.
So I dealt with it for 15 years. Then, after 15 years, not having any love for this woman, I started cheating on her and not caring about the consequences of being caught. We lived on Lake Street in Miller. Okay. I was going to the beach that day on Lake Street in Miller with another woman in my car, not caring whether I was caught. I really wanted to get caught so I could break off my marriage. So at the stoplight by McDonald's on Lake Street in Miller, my wife happened to, for some reason, pull up behind us, okay, while I'm stopped at the light. So she got out the car and walked around to the passenger side to talk to the female. Who are you, da-da-da. The woman I was cheating with didn't know I was married. I didn't tell I was married at the time. So she said, I'm Jerry's wife, da-da-da, who are you? So, they found out that situation and stuff like that. Then, I tried to lie and tell my wife that was my brother's sister that I was taking home.
Mm-hmm.
So, my wife trailed me. She trailed me. So, this particular female's car was parked at a hotel, which we had business with earlier.
Right.
And I took her away from the hotel in my car. So I took back to the hotel. She picked up a car, da-da-da. And after that and stuff like that, my wife was still forgiving. She was a good woman, very educated. I married into an educated family at 27 years old. And that's what enhanced my sense of thinking. And, for his family unity, the way their family was so close and stuff like that, and my family was so, broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell my mother about the way family unity should be. what I've experienced and how family should be. You know, I used to tell my brothers and sisters, once we grew up, it seemed like we grew apart. And I wanted that family unity that I knew I wasn't getting. And I say, let's go out, do this, that, for a socializing. I will pay for it. I never could get any of them to do
Agreed.
that. So, after that, I told my wife that, I wanted a separation. This was in 1999.
So how old were your daughters then?
My oldest was 14. My youngest was 8. And I got my own apartment. It just so happened to been in the same complex out in Miller and Marina Dune, Lakeshore Dunes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the complex we were living in. I lived a few blocks from her. And, my daughters used to come to visit me and stuff like that. And, I told my wife that, I wanted a divorce. I wasn't happy with the marriage. I used to tell my wife out of anger when we would, fuss.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tell her, you're not my wife. My wife was murdered.
Mm.
And looking back on that, I shouldn't have told her that. I was telling her, I was really telling her you wasn't my choice as a wife. My fiance that was murdered, that's my wife. That's what I used to always tell her when we would argue.
Right.
Which I realized that was wrong, I was destroying her inner feelings. But she loved me at one point, but, I destroyed her love. I take full responsibility for that. But after 15 years of marriage, I never grew to love my wife. I was always miserable in my marriage. I didn't want to be in it.
Did you ever tell her about the things you told us today, about as far as you wanted to kill a
No.
certain type of person?
No.
She never asked. Did you ever ask
I
her?
used to tell her that I wanted to hurt inmates because I
Yeah.
used to come home and think on the foot of the bed, and I used to bust out in tears of anger and hate.
Yeah.
I used to cry talking to her, telling her about how I feel about young black offenders. Yes.
So she knew about your then fiance?
Yeah,
Okay.
she knew.
She asked any questions about that?
She never asked any questions.
Man, I've, you always see things like this on TV, like those
Right,
true crime,
right.
The day
things.
of
That's why it hit
Lions
me
and
so
stuff like
hard.
that.
I would always see it in the news, but it happened to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what devastated and destroyed me. Yes.
Yeah, I can't, me having a daughter, she's my stepdaughter, but, she's mine. She's going to be 12 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know a lot of guys, fathers, they worry about, their daughters, especially because we live in a time where, it's happened so many times before.
Mm-hmm.
Rape was like a normal thing back then,
Mm-hmm.
where it just happened and no one did anything about it. It's changing now, but still, like, shit's still happening. And I could only imagine if that were to happen, I would have the same, I think I would have the same feelings it will towards.
It will almost drive you crazy because I've acknowledged the fact that I almost really lost my mind.
Yeah.
I did. I almost snapped mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still have mentally crazy thoughts, but I just don't act on them
Yeah.
because of the way I was raised. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, as far as the description of the people you say, like, young black men, like thugs like that, I live in East Chicago. I actually live, like, right across the street from from Guthrie, those complexes. And, like, to this day, it's still, like, crime-ridden. I want
Is that a project area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know how it was back in the 80s when that happened to your fiance. I know, like, on the backside, it's all, like, big complexes. But now they're building, like newer Section 8 homes. So I don't know how it was back then. But, yes, it's still predominantly African American, gunshots. Just like the other day, I don't know if I told you guys, there was like 10 or 15 gunshots like right in front of my house.
Oh yeah.
I heard back then in '82 that it was a bad project area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never really gotten away from that. It's always been, as far as I'm the same age as Freddie, and it's pretty much as long as I've been alive or have a memory, it's been like known as that. I know they tried to change the name of the people still call it Guthrie, but now I think it's like Martin Luther
King
Drive
or something.
But that's not gonna help the
Everyone knows it.
reputation that it has.
The ghetto hasn't changed.
And like, even though your situation didn't happen to me or even close to it, me myself, even when I see young thug, not even just black, white, Hispanic, and they have like their pants half off their ass and they're showing like what boxers at, to me it's stupid, and I have a 12-year-old daughter, almost 12-year-old daughter, and I have a 3-year-old son, and I want to get them away from that. But when I see them like that, it doesn't piss me. It pissed me off to see them doing that to themselves and kind of just like making themselves look really stupid, especially when you have a lot of educated, black people, Mexican people, Hispanic, white, whatever, But there's always gonna be that one person or one type of like culture that, does that, So I mean, obviously I don't go as far as like, man, I want to kill that person, but every time I see those people, as far as like, that way they dress and talk and everything else and smelling like straight weed, even though I have nothing against it, but it's like a stereotypical thing. That's what happens. Is like you see those thugs are smoking weed. They probably have a gun on them, and I try to avoid them at all costs, especially because I have kids,
Right.
And even though I grew up around them and grew up around that, I still want to distance myself from
right, because you're not a part of that lifestyle, that way of living.
Yeah,
you see it, but you're not a part of it. Yes,
especially with kids around, and it's just very unfortunate that it seems like that type of lifestyle is always going to be around,
It will.
So, as far as like I said, with your situation, it kind of sucks that it seems like there's only two options, for you. Is either you act out that, you act that out.
Because I'm going to die if I act out. I already know this.
Right.
And I'm going to be willing to accept death.
Right.
If I act out.
It seems
I know
like
what it's gonna come to.
It seems like it's either that or try to get closure, as far as like reopening the case and see what they could do. But again, that would have to be up to you. We can't make that decision for you. I would like you to stop feeling that pain, because I don't know. This is my first time meeting you, and I can't say we're friends. I can't say we're good friends.
Right,
Something happens to you tomorrow, I'd be like, fuck, man, like, that's crazy, because he was just
it was just somebody you knew.
Right.
Right.
But I wouldn't,
that's understandable.
I wouldn't go to your funeral, whatever.
Right.
Because I don't know you like that.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. But just knowing you, I wouldn't want that for my worst enemy, because I can't imagine what you're going through mentally.
I am, man.
I just can't imagine that at all, and I wouldn't want that for anybody.
Years.
Yeah. So has that
I've dealt with
affected?
it for 39 years.
Has that affected? Obviously, you got married after that happened.
Yeah.
Has that affected your like future relationships with any woman?
Yeah.
Because you can't see any woman.
Because I'm
for,
not gonna look at any other woman.
Right.
More so than just a sex partner.
Right.
I still feel in my heart that my wife was taken. The woman that was my choice to be my wife.
Right.
Well, like the
she
woman,
was taken. Yeah.
The love of your life, pretty much.
And until there's closure, I will die with this feeling and hate and anger in my heart. And I know this.
Right.
I know this.
Well,
yeah,
now, with your daughter, you had two daughters, and when they were growing up, I imagine that you were like super protective and over, like, know. Because
because of my southern upbringing, southern people had a very strict disciplinary way of disciplining their kids, more so than these northern people.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, we got whoopings.
Yeah,
I got my last whooping at the age of 18 years old, and when I tell people this, they find that very amazing, because I balled my fist up at my mom while she was chastising me. Yeah. And I moved out and been on my own ever since 19. Yeah. Okay, speaking of my mom, okay, it was one point in my life where I hated my mom. Okay, and I was saying to myself, if my mother would pass today, I wouldn't go to her funeral. You know, I've thought about, and I told my brothers and sisters this. You know, the thoughts that was embedded in my mind. I said, you know, these were just thoughts. You know, I said, I'm gonna kill my mother and I'm gonna kill my stepdad. And the way I was gonna do it, I was gonna wait until late night while I felt they was in their bed. And I was gonna throw a Molotov cocktail through their bedroom window. I was gonna throw one through the back door window, and I was gonna run to the front to throw one through the living room window, where there was no escape. Okay. And my brothers and sisters that I told this to, I said, if you all happen to be there at the time, then you all gonna die too. Why would a person think like that?
Right. What caused that? Was that from the situation?
Situation.
Yeah.
It stemmed from the situation with the death of my fiance, the taunt and hardship that I've dealt with through the prison, and the way that my mother treated me because my stepdad didn't like me. So she took his side.
Did he abuse you as well?
No, he didn't abuse me.
No.
He abused my mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just, I think sometimes that's like the worst type of abuse that you could get is
And see,
mentally.
too, not cutting you off, being that at the age of 27 years old, I married into an educated family. You know, it was 7 siblings that was all college educated. And that taught me at a young age, 27. And I used to tell my mom and my brothers and sisters how life should be, how family unity should be.
Right.
And they just couldn't grasp that. And that made me angry. And once my mother started, you know, just because, okay, I have a southern mom, you know, she's used to dictating adults' lifestyle. But once I came into that educated way of living, mom could no longer dictate to me what to do, how to do, boom, boom, boom. I would tell her what was right and what was wrong. And it would create animosity between us, but I wouldn't stop.
Right.
And I felt that she took my stepfather's side in disliking me because I was headstrong. She always dictated my other brothers and sisters' lives. She even do it to this day. So, with that point, I built up a hate for my mother. And at some point, I said if my mother was to die today, I wouldn't go to her funeral.
So it's safe to say that you still don't talk to your mom to this day?
Oh, yeah, I do now.
Okay.
Because I went to Jesus. I talked to the Lord. And I forgave her. Yes, I forgave her. I just dropped her off $50, you know, for a Mother's Day gift.
Yeah.
You know, but she's so old-fashioned and stuff and set in her ways, she still don't get it. So I'm trying to deal with that.
Right.
You know, but I'm going to be me. I'm going to be a man. You're not going to dictate to me how I live my life. Okay, I have a brother right now, 48 years old. You know, he's the baby of the family, the baby boy. He smoked some of that synthetic weed. It did something to his brain where he was found in the middle of the street of Broadway, 38th Avenue, and Ridge Road, passed out. They took him to the hospital. He had to have brain surgery. He was paralyzed on his right side. To this day, he's still permanently paralyzed. Staying with my mom and stuff like that. She dictates his life. Tell him, you know, you can't drink alcohol. And he's an alcoholic.
Mm.
You know, okay. And, you know, I look at the fact that, you know, this guy is 48 years old. He should be able to drink alcohol if he chooses to do so. That's his life.
Yeah.
But I don't intervene. And, one day, okay, she'll allow him to smoke weed on the back porch. November 10th, 2020, I was over there because normally my sisters that stay there as the caretaker of my mother, rolled his weed for him because he can't do it because he's paralyzed.
Yeah.
So they wasn't home. So he asked me to roll his weed for him, his joint. So I was rolling a joint. As I was rolling a joint, my mom came in and say, "Oh, you influencing Jason, which is my brother. You influencing him to smoke this in my house." Which she know that your daughters roll it for him and they smoke it on the porch. But you gonna come to me like this. So that set me out. That triggered something in me.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the difference in the way you treat them compared to me.
Yeah.
So I snapped. And I screamed at her and I say, don't do that. All I said was, don't do that. Don't do that. And I got up and I said, let me get the fuck out of here before I set this motherfucker on fire. And I left. And that was November 10th of 2020. And it was 6 months before I went back. The only time I went back was this year. And when was it? What are we in now? April?
We're in May.
We're in May. I went back May the 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you guys recently started talking after that last incident?
I'm trying to talk to her now. And I went over today. But it was 6 months before I went back over there.
Yeah.
And I used to visit my mom every off day. And I cut it off.
Well, see, I mean...
And, it's not normal for a person to want to kill their mother. Right. But I wanted to kill my mother at some point. I really did. Yeah.
I think given the circumstances, obviously...
Especially in a black race, we don't kill our mothers.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
But I wanted to kill my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did, man.
Growing up in the South, obviously predominantly probably African American where you lived at, and then moving to Gary, which was by then probably already predominantly African American. And does it, I guess it probably wouldn't, but since you have a vision in your head of who you're trying to go after, especially with things that are going on nowadays with politics and a lot of BLM stuff going on, and black on black crimes, which has always been a thing, but now they're trying to they're posterizing it, or it's all over media now, especially with the white and black crime that's going on now, right? Police officers killing black guys and everything else. Does it bother you anything or any that you want to kill your own race?
No, I still want to kill my own race.
You never...
Yeah, because I feel my race is the problem of the issues that I'm facing. Hearing every day on the news, these blacks killing these kids, killing these women, killing these innocent senior citizens.
Right.
And that's a trigger. Yeah. Right there, that's a trigger.
Yeah.
To make me hate them more and more.
When you look in the mirror and you see yourself in the mirror, you're African American. When you look at yourself, is there some part of yourself that kind of hates that you're African American because of that?
No.
It's just that.
No. Because I look at it as
you're not the problem.
A certain group of person
right.
that wasn't brought up right, no home training, no education. You don't have to be this way.
Right.
So I'm not going to down me because you all are doing this.
Right.
I got sense. I have intelligence. You all need to grasp this and get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also I think you said it too, is that's the person that you feel brought you pain, and you feel like they're going to bring other people pain that you felt. You know what I mean? So it's like you just want to eradicate that whole lifestyle, I guess. This is what would you say, lifestyle or person or being? Or...
It's definitely a lifestyle because you're not born
You're not
to
born.
you
Right,
know, sag
right,
your pants,
right.
to do that
And,
stuff, and
You know, I'm looking at it as it starts from the home.
definitely.
Something, whenever a black minor commit a crime, then they should go after the parent. That's how I should feel. You should feel some type of ramifications in the court system because your child is a minor and he committed this, you know, crime,
Right.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know, go after the parents. And maybe they will do a better job of parenting their kids if it was on them. If you know, if they, you know, had you know, this concept of I could do time or boom, boom, boom because of what my minor kid has done. You know, focus it on the parent.
Right.
Because you got these young teenagers out here, black teenagers, 12, 13 years old, out at a certain time of night. Why is the parents allowing this? It shouldn't be.
Yep.
Back in my day, it wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
When the street lights came on, we had to be in the house. If we're outside playing during the day, when my mom and them leave, we had to go in the house. We couldn't stay outside
Yeah.
playing. That's the way I was raised.
Yeah.
And a lot of it,
Parents have got to have a better responsibility.
yeah, and a lot of it to me, it's not always this way because there's ones that do step up. You know, there's a lot that step up, but there's also a lot like, okay, so, to me, it's when they're having the kids young. Because there's times like, you know, I know a lot of people that had their kids young and they stepped up and did their thing. Great parents, amazing parents, but there's ones like, you know, they're young and they still want to go out and do all the stuff that, you know, other people without kids are doing.
And get high with their kids.
Yeah, and then
You
they're
know, that was unheard of in my day.
and it's
You know,
like,
you don't do that.
so I agree on that level to extent. You know, I used I don't know when you worked with Alex at Goodwill, and there was a time when he left Goodwill and he came to work at that boys' home.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with him there,
Oh,
and there's times where I could see like, you could see some of the kids trying to change, but you could see their parents not wanting to do that change with them,
wow.
and they would need to do. You know, a lot of it. It's like they need their parents to back them up. They need that force to give them
You
that.
need that positive support.
Because if not, they're
You
just gonna
need
go
it.
right back to what they were doing. If they had somebody to help them, push them, so that's a lot. That's why it would break my heart a lot. Because it's like, damn, if this kid just had that push,
Yeah, they need
somebody to watch him and somebody to push him towards the right direction, he could use all his energy for
Yeah.
good. But
Even as an adult, we need that positive support.
Yeah.
Because I recognize this right now in my life. And with my family, I don't have no positive support. All the hardship that I went through it on my own. I don't have family members that's that mentally educated and aware to give me positive input.
Right.
I'm battling this struggle on my own, and I feel that I'm doing a good job through Jesus Christ. Because if I didn't, I would be a serial killer. Straight up. I know I would. I would be a serial killer. And I would be willing to die at the hands of the police. Yeah. Once I carry out my task, what I feel to be my task, I would welcome the police to kill me.
Yeah.
Because at the prison, when I was going through that situation, that scenario, once I killed as many black inmates as I could, I was going to point an empty pistol at the police.
So they could shoot you.
So they could kill me. Yeah. That's what my mind was. Yeah. And to this day, if I ever carry it out, I'm not going to prison. I'm going to die. And I welcome death in a situation like that. I don't want it to come to that because I would like to, be saved one day and go to heaven because that's the way I was brought up. Even though my parents was alcoholics, we had to go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes. And I strayed away at the age of 18. But I still believe in Lord Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And that's the only reason why I don't carry out my thoughts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to. But Jesus is keeping me. Yeah. I would kill a multitude of people and I would die and didn't care. That's where my mind is right now.
Have you ever tried? I know, especially now in 2021, there's like like everything is so advanced. You know how you said that back when that happened, that you talked to a counselor or psychologist, whatever, and obviously this was
It didn't. It didn't work.
right. Do you think you're up for to try it again at
No.
this day and age, knowing that medicine is a lot better than what it was 30 years ago, 40 years, shit, even like 10 years
No.
ago?
My concept now is to deal with whatever comes my way. That's my concept now. To deal with it.
How was your childhood growing up?
My childhood, growing up, I grew up down south in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And from the time I can remember, my mom and my biological dad was into alcohol. My biological dad was very abusive. He was the type of guy, back then, he would carry a claw hammer in his back pocket. That was his weapon of choice back then. And I can remember him getting in a fight. One day he came over to our house, and my mom was separated from him. She was dealing with my stepdad. They got into a fight. My stepdad had my dad down, and I can remember telling my stepdad, "Get up off my dad. Get up off my dad," and which he did. Yeah. And throughout then, my biological dad, he would come over periodically while my mom was still dating my stepfather, which she eventually married. There was no confrontation then. But the confrontation would be always, whenever my mom would get drunk, my stepdad would beat her. And I've witnessed him choking her on several occasions until she go unconscious. And I would, try to intervene. He would push me back. That's why when I grew up and turned 16, I told my mom when I grow up, I was going to kill him. And that was my mindset, to kill him. And I didn't care about the consequences. Whatever I do, I know consequences. If I do something, I'm not going to care about the consequences. I'm going to deal with the consequences.
Right.
To this day in my life, I'm going to deal with the consequences. I'm going to be prepared. But I'm not going to prison because I was a correction officer for 15 years, and I know I would be a target. I would prefer to die.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how your financial situation is. It's none of our business. But the only reason why I say that is, do you think? I mean, you're gonna carry this for the rest of your life, anyways,
Yes, I
right?
Because there's no closure.
Right. Do you think it would help you a little bit better if you didn't live in such an urban area? Like if you lived around more, I guess, like more Hispanics or just more educated people in general, where you
That
didn't
would be
see-
a big help. I think
big
it
help.
would. Yeah.
Have you ever thought, like I said, I don't know your financial situation, but do you think that's something that you would probably want to do in the near future, maybe? If you could,
What
I
my
guess.
thought was to go back to the South during my retirement years
Okay.
and see what that's like, because I've never been back since the age of 8 years old.
Oh.
If I do anything, it would go back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where I was
Do you still have
born.
family back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a sister there now that's married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you still have relationships with your daughters? to this
Yes.
day? Okay.
Yes, on a regular basis.
That's good.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will never forsake him. Like I told my daughters, you can have a boyfriend, you can be married or whatever.
Yeah.
If you need me, I will always be there for you.
Definitely.
I will always. I don't care what the consequences is. Because you all didn't ask to come into this world. I look at it like this. Me and your mom brought you into this world, and until I die, you are my responsibility. Even as an adult, you're my responsibility. I love my kids just that much.
That's
good,
great.
man.
That's great to hear.
I love them. I will never forsake mine like my dad forsake me. I haven't seen my father since I was 8 years old.
Right.
Once he passed away, Mom was asking me, "Are you going to his funeral?" No. I don't know him. I don't love him. I want my daughters to know me.
That's good though that your daughters don't hold a grudge against you because sometimes at the age that they were when you and your wife, ex-wife, got divorced, sometimes kids tend to hold grudges.
My oldest daughter did.
She did?
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
But, she came around.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came around. Yeah, because mom, too, planted that seed in their heads.
Oh yeah.
It didn't work with my youngest, but it worked with my oldest. She had a little animosity.
Yeah.
But, over the years, I'm dad. Yeah.
It's good, man.
It's great to hear because there's some positivity you could get that I know you deeply need. So
No matter
No, I
whatever
know, I
their
get
need
it.
is, I'm going to be their dad.
Yeah.
Until I die. I tell them, a lot of parents, like my parents, once we turn 18, they consider us grown. Oh, you're 18. You're grown. You're not my responsibility now. I tell my daughters this all the time. You will always, I don't care how old you be, you will always be my responsibility until I die because you all didn't ask to come into this world. Me and your mother brought you into this world. So you are my responsibility. I'm going to help you until I die. That's my concept with my daughters.
Yeah.
Because I've said I didn't want to repeat that cycle. That deadbeat dad, that's a cycle, a generational cycle. And I say I will not repeat that. If I'm not with your mother, I'm still with you. To the end. I'll be with mine.
I like that because I grew with both my parents. My father was
I didn't.
an alcoholic. Basically, he drank every week. There's stories I could go on and on about him. He just passed this past March, so I don't feel like talking. Not feel like talking, but it's just that doesn't matter anymore, right? He's resting now. But as far as like what you just said, breaking that cycle,
it's a cycle.
Yeah,
Yes,
my dad was raised by Mexican parents in Mexico, who were really hard. They came from, I think, 13 kids, so every day was a struggle.
We had 11.
So, and them going through that struggle, they didn't raise me and my 3 other siblings like how they did, really, how they were raised, but something similar, where we get hit, he would drink, sometimes he would lose control a little bit, maybe not too much, as far as like, what you're explaining, what your situation is. But me growing up, I'm 30 years old now, having my own kids, it puts really into perspective of like me trying to break that cycle as well.
Right.
I don't, sometimes I do
It's
slip.
got to be broken.
Sometimes I do slip and I do yell at my kids,
Right.
sometimes I feel like shit about it because I do it. But, as far as, I think it works both ways because you weren't brought up with your family, really like that, 2 parents, and then they were them being alcoholics, and then you watching abuse and everything else, so that kind of fucked your head a little bit, but growing up, you decided for yourself that I'm not going to be that person.
Right.
So I really hate, because men already get despised for being men, as cheaters or dogs. They're deadbeats,
we do.
No matter what race you are,
Right.
we're pieces of shit. We can never do no right. Men's health is really important just as much as women's health is, and I just hate to see when you have a deadbeat dad, especially in the urban areas that we live in, that I grew up in, seeing my people, your people, growing up and never be there for their fucking kids. They choose to do that shit. They don't have
it's
to.
a choice.
They some of them are raised with both parents, and still they choose to do what a man is supposed to do, like how you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So I really like that about yourself that you said that. You know what I'm saying? Because even though all the animosity you're going through, still all the turmoil you're going through, the daily battles that are going on in your head,
every day,
you still make time for your kids, which are the most important in your life.
And they live in Texas.
Oh, both of them live in
They
Texas?
both live in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will not forsake my kids for no reason. No. Even with the trauma that I'm faced with on a daily basis, this crazy sense of thinking, and I know this is crazy thinking, and that's why, I don't tell a lot of people about what I feel and how I think because they may view me a certain way. I'm not crazy. I have crazy thoughts, but I don't act on them.
Yeah.
See, I would be crazy if I was to act on these thoughts. This is just something that throughout my life that I've dealt with, that I've had to deal with. And, it created a lot of violent thinking in me. It did. I want to hurt somebody. I really do.
Have you ever thought about doing any like combat sports to kind of help you? I know you said you back then you did boxing and wrestling and stuff. Do you think something like to kind of take your aggression out? You think that would help a
I
little
would
bit?
like that, but I don't know where to find that at.
Right.
I need to find something that take this hate and anger because it's deep rooted. It's deep. A person just don't know. To look at me, a person would think that I'm mild, meek, and humble.
Yeah.
Internally, I'm not. I'm not. I'm dangerous. I'm dangerous. And I just hope I don't act on it. Yeah, I hope I don't act on it. I want to hurt people. And constantly I think about how can I hurt a person and get away with it.
Yeah.
That's not normal thinking. A normal person don't think that way. But these are the thoughts that I have to this day after 39 years of torment. I'm not over it. And I don't know whether I ever will be.
To me, holding that anger and
Just
sadness and
Just
everything
anger.
in for 39 years
It's eating me. It's
just shows your
eating me.
character because you're a strong individual person.
And my therapist told me any sane individual is capable of snapping. It depends on the amount of pressure that they can withstand.
Right. Everyone has their point.
100% facts.
And
yeah.
I feel I've gave it my best because I've been wanting to snap. But the way I was raised, knowing Jesus, knowing my two daughters, I say I won't unless I'm provoked.
Right.
And it's like I'm welcoming somebody to provoke me so I can do what I want to do. And that's crazy. Why would I think that way?
Right.
I want somebody to provoke me so I can kill them. I've been dealing with this for 39 years, man. I need help. But I'm going to deal with it.
Are you willing to get help?
If
I
it's
don't know.
possible.
I need help.
Because
if I don't, I'm going to kill something. I'm going to hurt something. Or I'm going to be killed. And I don't care. I don't care about dying. To this point, I don't care about dying. Kill me or I'm going to kill you. That's my concept. I can't keep dealing with this. I really can't.
It's a lot,
A person
man.
may look normal, but we're not normal. I want the world to know we're not normal. We're not.
you never know what's going through a person's mind, man.
It's a lot to take in.
This is deep, man. This is deep. I don't know how long I can deal with this. I'm gonna kill some people, and I'm gonna die. I don't care.
Have you talked to your kids about this at all?
No.
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 Do you not want them to know?
No.
That's understandable.
No.
But what if they could help you?
Nobody can help me but a professional. I need professional help, man. I need professional. I know I do.
Yeah.
And I've been dealing with this on my own. And I've did a good job.
You did a fucking
But I'm only
fantastic
human.
job.
I'm only human.
Yeah, you're getting this
I'm
far.
only human. I'm waiting on that moment to set me off. I'm looking forward to it to set me off. And I'm going to kill and I'm going to be killed. I don't care. This is heavy. People look at me every day. They have no clue.
Right.
They have no clue. I've dealt with this for so long. I'm tired of it.
People are capable of just nasty, mean shit, but people are also capable of loving and healing.
I'm capable of loving and healing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We all are.
Until I get this closure, I can't do it. I can't. I need closure. Can I have some tissue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go through this all the time, man. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
It's alright, Jerry, man. Let that
Yeah,
shit out, man.
Just let it all.
I'm a time bomb. I know what waiting to explode, man. I know this. And I'm waiting on somebody to set me off. I'm waiting so I can feel justified to do what I want to do. See what I'm saying? And this ain't real. This shit ain't real. I've been dealing with this since 1982. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm not crazy.
You're not.
No, you're
I'm
not at all.
Crazy, man.
Not at all.
Because if I was crazy, I would react on it.
Yeah.
That's one word that never crossed my mind during this whole whatever time we've been down here, you know,
But I'm
talking.
angry. I
get
get
it.
And I'm full of hate. I'm full of hate. And that's a disaster. A lot of people that don't know it, hate and anger, it's a disaster. It's a matter of time. And in my situation, it's just a matter of time. I'm waiting on something to set me off. And I'm going to die. But I'm going to kill. I'm going to kill.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And that's getting that in. That's how I feel. I'm going to kill.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to care. With what's happening with me, inside of me, it's done took the care. I don't care. If you look a certain way, if you act a certain way, I want you dead. You should have been born dead. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that was a really heavy shit, Jerry.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Not
that's
heavy.
what I'm going
Well,
through, man.
you know,
That's what I'm going through.
because we've never met
I
someone.
did it
you
for
know,
Alex
we-
because he asked me to.
No,
But
I really.
This is what's eating at me.
Yeah.
And I seem like a normal individual from the eyesight of a person looking at me. I'm not normal.
Like Alex told us about,
not
you know,
normal.
a little bit about what happened, but I don't even know if he knew exactly, you know, everything
He know
like
now.
this, you know.
Yeah, you
And-
all know now
Yeah.
how I feel inside. And it's deep. It's deep. It's really deep. It's no joke.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I have a
know.
desire to kill. And I'm a normal. I view myself as a normal person, but I have a desire to kill a certain type of people.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel this way.
And I know it took a lot for you, definitely two guys you don't know to come down here and talk to us about that. So I
didn't have a problem with it.
No,
Coming
I-
from Alex, he
Yeah.
told me, yeah. I want it to be known, man, because I need help.
Yes, exactly.
I really need help.
Even if we only have 2 fucking listeners, man, I hope,
So I hope
you
somebody-
know,
yeah.
we're going to try to do everything in our powers, man, to help you, because,
I need help.
You know-
I recognize that. I need help.
Yeah,
Because
because
if I don't have help, and if these feelings keep persisting, I'm going to kill, and I'm going to be willing to die. Simple as that. I don't care. I don't care. I haven't owned no handgun since 1984 when I accidentally shot myself. But with violence the way it is now, in the near future, I'm fixing to purchase a handgun. I'm going to get a carrier's permit. And Lord forbid anybody that provoke me. Lord forbid. Yeah.
Man,
I already have a plan in my mind. You know, if I snap, I'm going to go on a killing spree. Then I'm going to die. That's my thought. It is what it is.
Jerry,
And
man.
this is no joke. This is real. This is how I feel in
Right.
my heart and in my mind.
Right.
I'm going to die for what I perceive to be a cause, which is stupid. But that's where I'm at. Yeah, with what I've been through, that's where I'm at.
Jerry, if you're willing to get help, I'm pretty sure, you know, we're going to do as much as we can as normal people.
But I appreciated this because, you know, I need to talk at some point to some people that have enough sense and intelligence to listen and guide me in the right direction. You know, I've tried to talk to family, but they're not on that mental level where they can help me.
Yeah.
I need help. Straight up,
understand
I
that.
need help.
We're
It
gonna
is
see.
what it is.
I don't know. Well, I'm for sure gonna see what we can do definitely because I would love to get you that because just getting to know you, you know, for the time being that we've met, you seem like a great guy, Jerry. I'm like, you know,
I'm
not
a good
not
guy, man.
yeah, I'm not
I am.
joking like either. Like, I want to see you get that help because you seem, you know, I don't know, just what you went through, man.
Yeah, I feel invested just because, like, you know, you sharing your stories with us, you know, in a matter of whatever,
And I
2
don't
hours.
share this with everybody because I had that concept that, you know, once I get to talking about it, they think, oh, he crazy, he crazy. I'm not
Right.
crazy. I just have crazy thoughts.
Well, see, the
And
thing
if
is,
I was crazy, I would act on my thoughts. But if I'm pushed, I'm going to act on my thoughts.
Right.
So if I snap, then I'm crazy. So be it. I ran into that pressure that I couldn't withstand and endure. Because, like I say, my therapist told me any sane individual is capable of snapping. It depends on the amount of pressure that they can endure. I've endured so much. And I'm still enduring. And, you know, I still had a concept of killing, wanting to kill. But I haven't acted on it. I'm waiting on a reason. Give me a reason so I can act on it. That's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at. And I don't care about the consequences. But I'm not going to jail. I know that. I'm not going to jail.
Man, Jerry.
It's deep, ain't it?
Well, yeah,
It's deep.
it really is,
It
man.
really
Like,
is.
You know, it's got me up there. I'm fucked up for its thinking. But I just don't act on it.
right. Like I said,
I
man, we're
want to.
yeah.
Believe me, I want to. Yeah. I want to see a certain type of person dead.
Yeah.
A multitude of them dead.
Yeah, we're gonna end this here. You know, we could go on and on, but I want to talk to you offline. You know, so we can get to know each other better, see what we could do to, you know, help you out, you know, in your situation. Cause
yes,
It's deep there. I'm hurt.
I'm gonna do a smoker section podcast first, and I'm gonna intervene. I'm in the studio recording. I have worked with Jerry. Well, I took a 1-year break, but I worked with him roughly 4 years altogether, and I can tell you, I would never have known he's dealt with this struggle.
Yeah.
And when I hear
No
him say
one
he
would ever
wants
know.
to kill when he has the opportunity, it kills me that he's a good person, but he's fighting his demons.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
a
hope
demon.
he gets the help he needs because he shouldn't have to feel this way. So if any of you guys know someone that can guide him the right way, please contact the
need
Smoke
help.
Protection Podcast because I don't want to see a Jerry on live news
definitely, man.
saying that he reacted on his actions or his feelings, I should say, because it's just not right. Just picture something yourself dealing with for 39 years, bottled up. You know, it's like shaking a drink in a bottle for 39 years. Eventually, that cap's gonna go
it's
off,
on the bus.
and I don't want to see that happen. Because, like I said, I've been with him for 4 years. I would have never guessed this.
Yeah.
I literally worked right
Just
next
looking
to him.
at me, they would never
And we
know.
were both material handlers. I was literally 5 feet away from the guy for 8 hours out the day, and I would have never guessed this. So, and this is also for anyone who knows who's dealing with anything like this. Make sure you be a friend, be there, listen to them, because sometimes they're too afraid or too embarrassed to ask.
Definitely, man.
But
So Jerry, find that help, because I don't want to see you on Fox News.
Thank you. I won't
So-
be. I will be dead.
I'm gonna say
I
with
know
the
this.
with the heaviness of
Thank
this
you, Al.
episode, I
Just
think we're
keep
just
what
gonna
I'm
end
going
it
through.
here. You know, no funny quotes, no funny
Yeah, definitely.
sign offs. Just please, anybody out there that needs the help, please get it if you can. And from there, we'll see you guys next time in the Smoker Section podcast.
Definitely.